next button I want to show you is sync or color sync. So this is showing you each one of the hearts, and if I select this one, I could slide it up here. It made it match. So this is a nice way to, if you design something, you're like, oh wait, I want this one to be the same color as those. If we look at the layers panel, it's going to show you each item. And you can select on one at a time, which is nice if you have things that are stacked on top of each other. When you're clicking on the screen, sometimes it's hard to isolate just one thing. Where in here you can say, okay, I got that one thing selected. Or if you want to select all of the red hearts, I can click on each one of them in order to grab them and move them together. Or group, no, not really group them. Have them all selected. And it tells me I have 3 layers selected. I could delete all those layers. I could select something and hit the duplicate button, which does a copy and paste. Remember, duplicate is also over here. If I select all 3 of those hearts that are red, I can then group them. And now, because they're grouped, when I resize them, they resize together. Now, if I wanted to turn off this entire group, I can click that eyeball. The group is still there, it's just hidden. And the Cricut's only going to cut what's visible. And then if I want to turn it back on, I just unclick the eyeball. Under the Layers panel, there is an Attach button, and that's the little paper clip icon. I'm going to show you an example of how I most often use Attach. So I'm going to have a square and a score line. And I am going to rotate that 90 degrees. And now I can select both of them and say align them so they're centered. So now that score line is perfectly centered within the square. But if you look on the layers panel, they are 2 separate layers. They don't really relate to each other. So if I select both of them and hit that paperclip attach, now it says that they're attached to each other. And the nice thing is, if I want to resize this, see how that score line stays perfectly centered? So this would be a great way to make name tags that are going to stand up at a table for place settings. The last icon in the layers panel is the flatten button. So you can see right there in the layers panel, each one of these layers is a cut file. So if I went flatten, it changed the entire thing to a print then cut. That means it's going to send this to my home printer and then cut around the outer edge of this design. This is also a good example to show you that there's a warning sign, and that's saying that my print then cut design is too big. So if I size it back down, now it's within the print then cut limits. Under settings, you can change between centimeters and inches. I can also turn off the grid, change from light to dark mode, and turn on and off the smart guides. So with smart guides off, I can move these around and just place them anywhere. But with smart guides on, when I start moving this, see those little lines that come up? So that's telling me that's the center of that one. So the edge of this heart on the right is aligned with that center. When you click Make It, you're going to see the map preview. You can actually select on things and move things around, which is nice if you're using scraps of paper. You can move things so that it's right where you want it to cut. You can see that it also separated things by colored layer, so you don't even have to worry about that. If I wanted to make multiples, I can just enter that here and say done. And now it's making 6 copies. I do strongly recommend, if you have access to a computer, that you learn Cricut Design Space on the computer. I think it's a lot easier, but I hope this helps you if you're trying to navigate from the computer version to a mobile device. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.